And it's up to Gauteng Finance MEC Jacob Mamabolo to bring closure on the etolls matter. In tabling his 155 billion rand budget this week, the provincial government committed 12.9 billion rand towards the decommissioning of the tolls, which forms 30% of the bill. Gauteng Finance MEC Jacob Mamabolo joins us now. Good evening and welcome to you, MEC. It's lovely to have you in our studio. Just to explain further, there's been a lot of questions around the mathematics on this. Share with us where the expected etoll contribution is going to come from in terms of Gauteng's liability.
Firstly, good evening to you. Let me greet all the viewers and thank you for inviting us. Our contribution to the 30% obligation that came from the Minister of Finance announcement will come from what we call a hybrid model of revenue generation. So when you compare that with etolls were just one source collected from the etolls. So this time we're providing multiple sources. And there are those revenue streams that currently give us revenue. Some of them are not that efficient, and then there are completely new alternative sources that we want to explore. But again, in the hybrid model, in the meeting that Honorable Premier Desufi and Minister of Finance had on Monday, it was agreed that there will be a memorandum of understanding in which we'll also explore further sources of revenue that are sitting with national government. So we're looking at various sources in the hybrid model, which we will also use to consult with the people.
So it sounds like the commitment is there, but the actual provision of the money is something that still needs to be worked out. Is it something that can happen? I mean, can you gain clarity and cohesion on this fairly quickly, or is this going to take a long time to do?
Well, let's just take into account the fact that, the victory of the people of Gauteng against, this very unfair strain that has been put on them was just announced a month ago. So, and in that period, and then we needed certainty in the policy position of national government. Remember, almost since 2020 February, we've been waiting for the policy directive on this issue, and it just came a month ago. So once that happened, it then, set a very good and created best conditions for us to then start saying, okay, if there's a split, national government taking 70%, us 30%, how are we going to do that? So yes, the MOU, which is currently under consideration and they are working on it, is what will give final details. So we're not looking for a long time. We hope to conclude the MOU before the end of this year, so that in the an announcement will definitely be made on this matter. But the Premier, when he tabled his State of the Province address early next year, this matter will be there when we do the budget in March. So we're not looking for a long term.
And these books will be open to us as the public. I know that groups like Outer, who've been lobbying for the scrapping of etoll since the very beginning, have been wanting greater transparency to understand, both from a payment side and a commitment side, how the numbers were accrued. Is there going to be transparency for interested parties, or indeed, the residents of this province to be able to peruse?
Two things are important. One is that just how as government we function, at the core of our work, we're guided by constitutional values of transparency, openness. There's even a legislation that gives access to information. So there's no doubt on that issue. And I would like to say we will be open and transparent even more. And just lastly on this point is, the reason why as a province, and together with national government, and agreed on an MOU, it's precisely to, in a very clear way, say, this is the agreement, and that MOU will be made public. We will pronounce on it, so it will bring certainty, clarity, and consistency, and also people will have better expectations moving forward. Yeah. So if we don't do that, it tends to create, suspicion, doubt, and discredit the process. So we're very clear that there must be transparency. All black boxes must be open.
So the GFIP, which is obviously a provincial imperative, in terms of, you know, funding and allowing it to do its work and to do the projects, to accomplish the projects that it's mandated to do. And on top of that, just in general, you know, the looking after of the roads in this particular province. We know that potholes in Johannesburg are a particular pain point for the residents here. Is there going to be a compromise in, you know, in budgets of, you know, money that must be allocated towards GFIP? And general maintenance of roads in the province?
So it's important to just say that in terms of so there are three issues. One is maintenance of the GFIP 1, which is the current roads that have got gantries, and then there are roads that still have to be done, expansion of 2 and 3, and of course it's maintenance. So, and let me say that, for example, in the roads that have got gantries, you will see one of them, which is the main road, the M1 road, belongs to the city of Joburg. Then there are national roads that belongs to national government. And in actual fact, if you look at most of them, are national roads that are sitting with the countries. So the reason why we need an MOU is precisely to say, in terms of legislation and mandate, who deals with which road in terms of maintenance and expansion. We have what we call the Provincial Road Maintenance Grant, which is issued by the National Department of Transport. That is the grant which we use for provincial roads. So if we were to either do municipal or national, we're going to violate the Public Finance Management Act because we'll be dealing with unauthorized expenditure.
So no,
that is why,
to pay
no, that shouldn't happen. So the MOU is precisely to deal with those intricacies of, by the way, let me also talk about new roads to be built.
Right.
While these roads may be said to be Gauteng roads, but we know that the roads that interface and interact in Gauteng carry the national economy. 64% of exports and imports for packaging, warehousing, storage, departs and land here in Gauteng before they go to the rest of the country and the rest of the key trading partners of our country. So to say N1 part in Gauteng belong to Gauteng, it's not correct. So these roads are supporting the national economy because Gauteng is the hub of the country. So national government is discussing with us the 70% contribution because we all agree the roads are critical to carrying the economy of the country, and national government is not dumping the debt on us or find money to fix the roads. These roads are critical to the economy. If we don't deal with them, all of us collectively, the neighboring states, the provinces, and all of us will suffer the pain. So it's a national effort. That's why we need all spheres of government, particularly national and province, to say, how are we going to expand the road, even their maintenance, by the way.
MEC Mamabolo, thank you very much for talking to us this evening. We appreciate your time. Gauteng MEC for Finance, Jacob Mamabolo.